What's going on, everybody, and welcome to my review of Dexter Season 2. Going into this season, my expectations were honestly sky high. Season 1 was already such a masterpiece of television, dark, layered, iconic, that I was curious how the show could possibly follow it up. Everyone I'd talked to or read online seemed to hype up Season 2 as one of the best of the series, and people were saying that it takes everything from Season 1 and somehow makes it better. That's a bold claim, so naturally I was excited to see if it lived up to the reputation. The Astrak killer storyline was already so perfectly executed that I couldn't imagine topping it. But if Season 1 was about establishing Dexter's world and introducing us to his character, then Season 2 was about throwing him into the fire and testing just how far he could go before his entire life came crashing down. And that sounded like exactly the kind of escalation I wanted. After watching it, I can confidently say that I absolutely adore Season 2.
It was perfect. Perfect.
Not only did it live up to the hype, it's tied with another season as my personal favorite of the series, which you'll find out later on. What I love so much is that it doesn't try to replicate the Astrak killer formula. Instead of giving Dexter another villain of the season type story, it flips the script and makes Dexter himself the target. The walls close in around him in a way that's both terrifying and thrilling, and the suspense of watching him try to stay one step ahead is some of the most fun I've had with this show. Season 2 is intense, funny, shocking, and endlessly entertaining. It's television at its most addicting. The season kicks off in the aftermath of the Astrak killer case. Dexter is still dealing with the psychological weight of killing his brother Brian, and his dark passenger feels out of sync. Suddenly, he can't kill the way he used to, and it throws him completely off balance. But the real turning point comes when divers stumble upon his dumping ground in the bay. Dozens of baddies, his victims, are discovered, and suddenly Miami Metro is investigating a new serial killer, the Bay Arbor Butcher. Of course, the cruel irony is that Dexter is the Bay Arbor Butcher, which turns the entire season into a race against time. Can Dexter avoid detection even as the FBI gets involved and the net begins to close around there? That's such a brilliant setup because it puts Dexter in his most vulnerable position yet. In Season 1, it was untouchable. He had his code, his methods, and his double life under control. But in Season 2, everything is out in the open, literally. His crimes are being paraded across the media. The entire city is obsessed with catching the Bay Arbor Butcher, and he has to navigate all of this while pretending to be the innocent, likable Dexter Morgan. The tension is off the charts, and every episode builds that paranoia now until it's almost unbearable. What makes it even better is how personal the season becomes. Dox, who was already suspicious of Dexter in Season 1, is more relentless than ever. Their rivalry is one of the best parts of the show. Every scene between them crackles with tension. Dox doesn't play by the rules. He doesn't trust Dexter for a second, and he spends the entire season circling closer and closer. The cat and mouse dynamic between them is incredible, and the fact that Dexter ultimately frames Dox as the Bay Arbor Butcher is both brilliant and tragic. There's one scene in particular that I love, where Dox gets in Dexter's face snarling, "I own you, and Dexter just headbutts him. It's so raw, so perfectly in character, and it sums up their whole dynamic in one brutal moment.
And what's that?
I own you.
Then there's Lila, Dexter's Neurotics anonymous sponsor, who becomes one of the season's wild cards. I know some people don't like her, but personally, I really enjoy what she brings to the story. Lila is chaotic, manipulative, and dangerously seductive, and she pushes Dexter into places it wouldn't normally go. His relationship with Rita takes a hit early in the season after she suspects him of lying and hiding things, and into that void steps Lila, watching Dexter, who normally operates with such control, get pulled into this destructive, toxic relationship is fascinating, and honestly, it leads to some hilarious and fun moments too. Lila is unpredictable in a way that keeps you on edge, and she's a great contrast to Rita's stability. Speaking of Rita, this is where the season stumbles a bit for me. I adored Rita in season 1. She was complex, sweet, and brought out a different side of Dexter. But in season 2, she becomes unbelievably annoying. I know a lot of people compare her to Skylar from Breaking Bad season 2, and I totally get why. They both become these sources of constant nagging and confrontation that make them feel unlikable. Rita spends so much of the season grilling Dexter, suspicious of everything he does, to the point where it stops being dramatic and just becomes frustrating. There's one scene that really stands out when Dexter admits to her that he was the one who put Paul, her abusive ex-husband, in jail. Instead of appreciating it, her immediate response is, "You're a drug dealer, like him." And I was just sitting there thinking, what? It's such a ridiculous leap, and it makes her character feel written in a way that undercuts everything good about her from season 1. Frank Landy, the FBI agent brought in to hunt the Bay Arbor Butcher, is a character I have mixed feelings on. On the one hand, I love how competent he is, and I especially love the scenes where he puts Aguerta in her place, because honestly, I don't like her character at all, and watching someone shut her down is satisfying. But his relationship with Deb feels awkward and weird. I get what the writers were going for, showing Deb finally connecting with someone who sees her potential and helps her heal after season 1, but the age difference and the way it plays out just makes it hard to buy into. It's not the worst subplot, but it definitely drags compared to everything else going on. Still, the positives far outweigh the negatives. The Bay Arbor Butcher storyline is one of the best arcs in the entire show. The way Dexter has to navigate his personal life, his job, his rivalry with dogs, and the looming FBI investigation makes for incredible television. The pacing is tight, every episode feels important, and the stakes are so high that you're glued to the screen. The ending is phenomenal, tying up the Bay Arbor Butcher case in a way that feels shocking, satisfying, and yet perfectly believable within the world of the show. Dexter escapes exposure, Dox tragically takes the fall, and Lila gets her competence in a way that feels poetic. If season 1 was about introducing Dexter and showing us how he operates, then season 2 is about tearing that operation apart and seeing how he survives. It's risky storytelling because it could have easily blown up the show too early, but instead it becomes one of the most thrilling seasons of television I've ever seen. It's funny, suspenseful, shocking, and endlessly enjoyable. Despite some flaws, I can't help but love it. Season 2 proves that Dexter wasn't just a one-season wonder. It had the legs to go further, and it delivered in spades. Overall, I absolutely love Dexter Season 2. It's tied for my favorite season. It's fantastic from start to finish, and it's one of the most entertaining viewing experiences I've had in a long time. For me, it's another 9.75 out of 10. That's going to wrap my review of Dexter Season 2. I want to hear what you think. Do you agree that the Bay Harbor Butcher storyline is one of the best arcs in the entire show? What did you think of Lila or Rita's shift in character? And of the way the season ended? Drop your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.